Now, let's talk about some other ways that coronavirus is already affecting the way you live. We'll discuss all things money and prices in a moment with Nina. But first, let's talk travel. John Kay is at a travel agent in Somerset right now. John, and lots of people want to know, how is this going to affect my holiday?
Yeah, Rachel, we've heard this evening that British Airways and Ryanair are among the airlines who've announced tonight that they are cancelling some flights over the next few weeks. Clearly, the travel industry is already being hit by this. But lots of your questions coming in tonight, like these people here, wondering, how does this affect your Easter holidays, maybe your summer holiday plans? Should you cancel? Should you go? What happens if you do? These two gentlemen should be able to help us. Miles Morgan, this is your travel agent. Thanks for having us here this evening.
No problem.
Simon Calder, Independent's travel editor. Should we start with you? What is the official British government advice as things stand right now?
For coronavirus, the only areas which are off limits are mainland China, that came in about 3 weeks ago, and 2 regions of South Korea and 11 towns in northern Italy. And they're, by the way, not places that any tourists would normally find themselves in. Everywhere else, according to the Foreign Office, the risks are tolerably low. Although I know from unprecedented numbers of people getting in touch with me, there's huge amounts of stress and anxiety out there. People whose anticipation of their holidays just turned into apprehension, I'm afraid.
Mars, here at the sharp end then, what are you seeing? What that apprehension and anxiety?
Yeah, I think it's no surprise, our shops have been inundated with people coming in asking questions, and it's quite comforting they can sit down in a travel agency, talk through what the options are. And I'm pleased to say the vast majority, over 99% of people, are just carrying on as normal with their holiday, which is absolutely right.
But when they come in and they want reassurance, how can you reassure them if they've seen hotels locked down and cruise ships locked down, that kind of thing?
It's a perspective. It's a matter of looking just how many people are affected, the areas affected, and in the scheme of the world, it's still very, very small numbers of people and areas.
Simon, what is somebody's options then? If somebody's thinking, I don't want to go, I just don't fancy it anymore, I'm thinking about cancelling, what can you do? What should you do?
You've got very few options. If you happen to be booked on one of the hundreds of flights cancelled by British Airways, Ryanair and EasyJet, then you can opt to get your money back. If you pay separately for accommodation or car rental, you won't necessarily get that back. You might be able to claim it from insurance, but that's very unlikely. The vast majority, though, of people who are booked to travel, if they decide not to go, they will lose some or all of their money. They won't be able to get it through travel insurance. And I must say, I know how upset people are, but genuinely, there's never been a safer era for British travellers to be going abroad. And I've seen some really irrational decisions made. I'm travelling a lot. Friday night, Stansted, talking to a lady in the security queue, keeping a respectable distance so that to minimise any risk. She's off to Cyprus. Her partner has decided not to go, so she's waking up on this wonderful island, no coronavirus, sun, healthy, lovely. He's waking up in rainy old Essex with, I'm afraid, no holiday and sadly today a case of coronavirus.
OK, well, look, thank you both for your reassuring words and your information.